Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Today's Daf Yomi is MOED KATAN Chaf Aleph, and we begin on Chaf Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Ameimar Shochiv Lei Barbary. Ameimar had a grandson who passes away. Kora Iloya. Ameimar did Kriya on account of this a tragedy in honor of his son, of Ameimar's son, the father of this boy. As we learned yesterday, you meant to participate in the Avelis experience of your relative. Also, now what happened was, according to Tosfos, Ameimar the grandfather did Kriya while he was sitting down, rather than standing up, which is the proper way of doing it in a formal manner. So he did it sitting down, and his son noticed, so he tried to hint to his father to redo the Kriya. So what did he do? Also, so Ameimar's son, father of this boy who passes away, arrives and he does Kriya. Kara Ba'peh, he does a Kriya in front of his father to hint to him, look, you have to redo that Kriya. Idkar de Yusuf Kara. So Ameimar recalls that he did Kriya sitting down, which doesn't qualify. Kam Kara Mu'umad, he got up and he did Kriya standing up. Amalei Rav Ashila Ameimar. Kriya de Mu'umad Minolan. How do we even know that one is required to be in standing position in a formal manner to do Kriya? We learn it from a pasuk. When Eiv heard about the tragic event of his children passing away, he got up. He did Kriya standing up. And that's the makar for standing by Kriya, and it's ma'akev. It has to be redone if done otherwise. Asks the Gemara Elamiyata, if you learn from Eiv, Vayakam Eiv Vayikra indicates it has to be standing up. So Vayakam means literally in standing position. Elamiyata, what are you going to do with the pasuk? Va'amad va'amar lechafatz lekachta. This fellow gets up and he says, I'm not interested in being miyabim desivama. Does it mean literally va'amad? He has to be in standing position. Ha'chinami. V'tanya, the Brisa says, we don't need standing. Bein yoshev, bein oimed, bein muta. He can make this declaration whether in sitting position, standing, leaning. Apparently, v'amad doesn't mean literally standing up. Rather, like people speak, v'amad v'amar, he got up to do it, he proceeded to do it. Here as well by Eiv, perhaps, vayokam Eiv vayikra doesn't mean literally standing up. It means he got going, he proceeded to do Kriya. But you don't need Amida Dafka. Amarle, he responded, Hasam like Vayamoid Vayaymar. By Chalitza, it doesn't say Vayamoid Vayaymar. It says Va'amad Va'amar. That could mean it's just a mode of speech. He got up to do it. He proceeded to say that. Whether sitting or standing or leaning, irrelevant. But Hachaksiv Vayakam Vayikra with a Yud, that's a more specific term. Vayakam, he actually got up. He was in standing position. Rashi Ksav Yad says, V'amad v'amar is just Dibra Torah Kalasha B'nei Adam. The Torah at times adopts phrases used by people, just the way people speak. He got up to do it. It means he proceeded on his way. But when it says Vayakam with a Yud, that's a more specific term, which means actually getting up. And we learn that Kriya has to be mu'umad. Amar Rami Bar Chama. This is another memra regarding the same halacha. Mina in the Kriya Shim Umud, from where do we learn that Kriya must be standing up? Shenemar Vayakam Eiv Vayikra, the same pasuk as we mentioned. Okay. So Vayakam, let's not challenge it. It means in standing position. But still, Dilma. Milsa Yisira. So perhaps Eiv wasn't following the book. He was doing extra things out of distress. And perhaps that can provide a precedent. You cannot learn from there that these things are required. Because otherwise, if you don't agree with this suggestion that he's doing extra things, what about Vayagazes Roisha? He pulled out the hair from his head. Is that also required for an oval? Certainly not. Apparently he did extra things. You can't bring a riot from here at all. We have another source. By David HaMelech it says, Vayakam HaMelech Vayikras begadav. Here too, he was experiencing Avelis on account of his son. He got up and he did Kriya. There as well, perhaps he was doing extra things that aren't required for a typical Aval. Because otherwise, what are you going to do with the pasuk Vayishkav Artzi? He lied down on the floor. He went to sleep on the floor itself. Hachanami, is that required? It doesn't even work. There's a halacha that Aval must be koifes mitase, overturn his bed. You can't be yaitze by simply lying on the floor. You have to overturn your bed. Vatanya yashav al gabi mita. Let's say the Aval decides, I'm sitting on a bed. Al gabi kisi on a chair. Al gabi dining doila on a large mortar. Even al gabi karka. Or there's a girsa. G'doila mikul and amr, even more than that. I feel al gabi kark, even if he sits on the floor, lo yatzei dechevas, he's not yatzei. What is he not yatzei? Rabbi Yehuda, which mitzvah is he not yatzei? Shloi kiyim kviyas hamita. He didn't fulfill kviyas hamita. You have to overturn your bed. Okay, you could sit on the floor, but you have to do kviyas hamita, and it doesn't say that David HaMelech did that. So apparently, he did extra things. He overturned his bed, and Vayishkav Artza, he lay on the floor. So these are extra things that he did, above and beyond the letter of the law. You can't learn from David HaMelech as to the halachos of Avelis. Amalek ein Artza. So he told him, Vayishkav Artza doesn't literally mean he slept on the floor. It means he overturned his bed and he lay on that overturned bed like the floor. It's not the norm, not a proper bed. He was following the halachos of Avelis, the way he meant to do it. And therefore, when it says Vayakim HaMelech Vayikra, that indicates to us that yes, Kriya by an Aval has to be done standing up, and this is the makar for our halach. So the bottom line is, we learn from David HaMelech, Kriya must be mu'uband, and it's actually ma'akiv. Tanu Rabbanan. Elu dvarim she'avel asur behen. An Aval is restricted regarding the following things. This is during the Shiva itself. Asur b'melacha, he doesn't do work. Uberachitza, bathing, ubesicha, smearing, ubetashmish hamita, ubenilas asandal. Now Tosfos points out, of course we're not speaking about everything, there are things that he's meant to do. Like Kfiyas Hamita that we just mentioned, Atifas, Haroish. But those are positive things. He's meant to do those things. The Bryce is not discussing things that he's meant to go ahead and do. Rather, we're limiting our list to restrictions and limitations. It's interesting, Tosfos says, although typically an Aval is meant to overturn his bed and wrap his head, Atifas Haroish, we don't do that today. Why not? So he says, Kfiyas Hamita, we're concerned that the non-Jews will think we're involved in some sort of magical stuff, kishuf, so we want to keep away from that. And Atifas Haroish, he says, that's all as per cultural norms, and nowadays it's going to have the opposite effect. It's going to bring the day schoik. If one walks around all covered up, it's not going to achieve the result, the Avelis result we're trying to achieve, and therefore we sort of delete that nowadays. So it's all based on the cultural norms, what constitutes Avelis. So we skip these two things. In any case, the Brisa continues. What else? What else will Avel not do? V'also likros b'Torah. He may not learn Torah, which is mesamech a person. All parts of Torah, b'Torah, b'Neviim, u'b'Ksuvim, b'Lishnis, b'Mishnah, whether Mishnah is b'Medrash, the Brisa is pertaining to the Psukim, u'b'Halachos, that's the Halacha to Moshe Messina, u'b'Hashas. Actually, used to say Talmud, but these censors had something against the word Talmud, so they switched it to Shas. Uba-Agados, the Agados as well. Why? It says Rashi 3 lines from the top. V'asa likros. We have a pasuk. The Amar Achman al-Cheskel, Hashem tells Yecheskel, ha'anek doim, remain silent. We apply it to Torah, don't learn Torah. Asks Rashi a kasha. V'ha the Amar, we have a Gemara in Sukkah, a Brisa. Avel chayiv v'chol mitzvah samurish b'Torah. Except for tefillin, he don't have to do everything, including Talmud Torah. Why do we exempt him from Torah? That's referring to the other mitzvahs. Aval hani, but these, meaning learning Torah, is bu simcha. It generates simcha in one's heart. That spiritual ecstasy cannot be allowed for the aval. It's incompatible with his avelus. So it's in a different category. Typically, he does all the mitzvahs except for tefillin. And the Gemara there says because tefillin is considered pe'er, it's an adornment, and the avel who's wallowing in his dust, Rashi says over there, misgoidel ba'afar karnai, at least during the first stage, the intense stage of the avelis, the first 2 or 3 days, as we're going to see in the upcoming Gemara. Other than tefillin, he's chayiv in all the mitzvahs. He's not oinen. Oinen is until the kfur, but afterwards he does everything. That's typical. But Torah is misameach leiv, and that he cannot engage in. Interesting. Tosfos has a whole discussion here. He brings from Tshuvas Rabbeinu Yitzchak Zikni, who wrote in the name of Rabbeinu Yaakov, I presume that's Rabbeinu Tam, who was oiser b'mei evlai, even iyai v'kinois b'dvarim haram sh'yirmiyah. He says that, although by Tisha B'Av we learned that you may learn disturbing topics, kinos, iyai, perik ve'elu magalchen, you can do that on Tisha B'Av, but an Al Gemara by an Aval, the Brisa doesn't allow for those exceptions. In fact, we have no mention of that in Al Gemara. So he says perhaps an Aval is more severe than Tisha B'Av. It's a personal Avelis, different than Tisha B'Av, which is a communal experience which we allow. We allow for some more Torah, not to create that, all-encompassing absolute bittul Torah. So a personal Avelis is worse, is more severe. Lamaisa Tosfos brings ubimei ziknusoi chazav v'hitir. Eventually, Ben Yaakov reverted. He was matir, even for a regular aval to learn these disturbing topics involving tzaros of Klal Yisrael or hilchos aval. Interesting. There was a story with the Rogatchover, Rabbi Yosef Ruzhin, the famous Rogatchover, who lived in pre-war Europe, huge guy and a tzaddik, and he had his own things. He used to do things which were not necessarily conventional. Once they saw him sitting and learning Torah when he was sitting Shiva on his sister. He says, Torah for a novel? He's learning a regular Gemara. He says, look, I'm basing myself on the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says, Himoya lohut. A person was totally addicted to Torah is allowed to, even during Shiva. He says, it's not enjoyment, it's life. Pikuach nefesh. And I have to live, even during Shiva. So he made exception for himself. He learned Torah during Shiva. Okay, but it's not the accepted halacha. We are machmer, we don't learn Torah, unless, as Tosfos says, if dvarim haroim, disturbing things, very often Avelim will keep a sefer of Hilchos Avelos next to them, so they could utilize their free time. In any case, that's typical. Right? So a private person will not engage in Torah. Continues the Gemara, but there is some exception to the rule. He was a public figure, he's a Rav in town, and we need him. He needs to say his shir. He will not withhold. Umas, in fact, there was a story. Besi lost his son. And he came into the Beis HaMedrash, and he did his whole shir, a whole day. Rabbi Barachana is Shabei Milsa. He experienced a tragedy. He figured, okay, no shir today. I have a halacha from a brisa which says, if they need your services, you cannot withhold. Go out and learn. Okay, he figured, okay, business as usual. I'll take the Amir, the Meturgman, the fellow who would announce his drasha to the rabbim, take him along. Business as usual. Amalei, so Rav pointed out to him as follows. He meant to downgrade a bit low key. Tanya, we learned in the brisa. Although the Rav goes out and gives his drasha, but he deviates a bit. He downgrades. Tanya, he shouldn't have the Turkman standing next to him, who announces his words. How then should he proceed? In order that his words should be heard by everybody. As the following price. Shabidu's son passes away. Shabidu enters the Beis HaMedrash to give the shir. Rabbi Chananya enters with him. And sits down next to him. Rabbi Yehuda, the one who gave the shir, whispered over to Rabbi Chananya. Instead of directly to the Meturgaman, he did it indirectly. First to Rabbi Chananya, and then Rabbi Chananya ben Akavya, the Turgaman, passed it on to the announcer, who had this loud voice, the Turgaman Ishmael Rabbim, who announced it for all to hear. So although he gave the shir, but with a little bit of a shinoi, to keep things in perspective, look, I'm right now experiencing Avelis. It's not business as usual. What else will Avel refrain from? As Tosfos pointed out, Rashi pointed out, he will not wear tefillin. Tanu Rabban. Avel Gimel Yamim Rishonim also Neach Tefillin. Now Tosfos asks, why didn't the Brisa mention Tefillin and the halach of Sheila Shalom coming up soon, greeting people? Because those things don't apply throughout the entire period of Shiva. As we're going to see now, Tefillin is limited to 2 or 3 days, and therefore the Brisa didn't mention that amongst the other limitations which are throughout the entire Shiva period. So how long will the Avel refrain from wearing Tefillin? Tan Rabban Avel Gimel Yamim Rishonim, for the first 3-day period of the Avelos, which is the most intense and critical. Also l'neach Tefillin, he will not wear Tefillin. Mishlishi ve'elach, from day 3 onward. V'shlishi b'chlal, even on day 3, meaning as soon as Miktzas Hayom Kikulei passes him, as long as he already experienced some of that for 3rd day, Mutar l'neich Tefillin, he may don his Tefillin. V'im bo panim chadoshos, even if new visitors show up to the Shiva house, on the 3rd day they see him wearing Tefillin, they might think, well, he must be wearing this Tefillin from the beginning of the day without having fulfilled that all. Even a bit of that day, don't worry about it. He doesn't have to be concerned with that chashash. He doesn't have to remove them. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer holds it's a 3-day limitation, and don't be concerned about visitors. Rabbi Shuai, it's a 2-day limitation. He may not wear tefillin only the first 2 days of his shiva. Misheni, however, from day 2, v'sheni b'chlal, and even on day 2, meaning as soon as he goes a bit into day 2, he has miktzas hayom kekuloi, mutar l'nech tefillin are permissible. However, we have a chumrah. Let's say new visitors arrive on day 2 and they may think, well, he must be wearing this tefillin already from the crack of dawn. Let's have to be concerned about that chashash and remove it. So Rabbi Eliezer is makel on one hand, he says, don't worry about visitors, but he's machmer. As per the duration of the Isser, it's a 3-day Isser. Rabbi Yeshua says, look, don't worry about, he's machmer regarding visitors, you have to remove it when visitors arrive. But he shortens the duration of this restriction. It's only a 2-day limitation. Amar Masna. My time of Rabbi Eliezer. How come Rabbi Eliezer says that it's a 2-3-day affair? The days of Bechi, crying on account of Moshe's passing past, Yimei Lashon Rab, which indicate 2 days of Bechi, which are the most intense of all the Shiva days. And Tosfos adds, in our Torah we have 2 days, but we add a 3rd midrabanan, and we can suffice with miktzas hayom kekuloi, so it gives us a total of 3 days. Although not complete days, but 3 days nevertheless. My time, the Rishua. Where's the Rishua coming from? That it's only a 1+ day affair, indicating the bitterness of the Shiva stretches for 1 day only, and Tosfos adds, well, we add another bit on day 2, therefore you can wear tefillin somewhat into day 2. Rabbi Shua Nami, what does Rabbi Shua do with the pasuk which indicate that it's a 2-day affair? Amalach Shani Moshe Takaf Avle Moshe Rabbeinu, this great supreme leader of Klal Yisrael, his bechbechi lasts for 2 days. It's a more severe, substantial avel. Rabbi Eliezer Nami Yoksiv Achrisu Kiyema, what does Rabbi Eliezer do with the pasuk which indicates that it's a 1-day experience? I agree. The Ika bitterness lasts for 1 day, but avelus, it's a 2-3 day affair. Amar Ula, how do we paskin? Well, we sort of adopt all the kulas. Halacha k'divrei hamekel ba'avel, right? So Ula Amar, halacha Rabbi Eliezer b'chalitza. We paskin like Rabbi Eliezer. You don't have to remove your tefillin even if new visitors arrive. Halacha Rabbi Yeshua ba'anoch. However, when it comes to the issue of wearing tefillin to begin with, we follow Rabbi Yeshua. You can start wearing them on day 2. Now comes the interesting question. Sure, you can adopt all the kulas you want, but they can't really contradict each other, right? So on the one hand, you can say, wear tefillin on day 2. Halakha Rabbi Yeshua. On the other hand, you can say, well, on day 3, when you're wearing tefillin and somebody shows up, you don't have to remove it. As per Rabbi Eliezer kula. Don't worry about visitors. What about if he's wearing tefillin on day 2 and a visitor arrives on day 2? Here you're in trouble. Why? Because there is nobody, not Rabbi Eliezer nor Rabbi Yeshua, will allow you to wear tefillin on day 2 when visitors arrive. Right? Rabbi Yeshua says you can put them on day 2, but if visitors come, he's machmer, you have to remove them. So although we say halakha Rabbi Eliezer b'chalitza, you don't have to remove on account of visitors, but he was speaking about day 3, which is the the day where you can put on your tefillin. But suppose you're wearing them on day 2 because you're following Rabbi Yehoshua. You can wear tefillin on day 2, but then visitors arrive. Now you're in trouble because if you're following Rabbi Yehoshua, he says remove them when visitors arrive. Well, you're following Rabbi Lezer. It's not concerned about visitors, but he never spoke about day 2 because he held that the heter to put on tefillin only starts on day 3 to begin with. See, Bailu. This leads us to the following question. Basheni. He's wearing tefillin on the 2nd day. Le'ula, according to Ula, who told us that we adopt all the kulis. Choylitz. The newcomer arrives. Does he have to remove? Or perhaps he doesn't have to remove. So basically, the shaila is, explained in Mefarshim, shaila is like this. When we paskan, we adopt a certain shita. Are we paskan like the person who said that shita? Or we're just adopting the concept? In which case we could just make our own new mix. We could say, look, if you put on tefillin on the 2nd day, we like that shita. We'll make it. And we all like the other shita that if visitors arrive, don't be concerned. So even if it happens to be on the 2nd day, and there's no shita in the world, not Rabbi Lezer, not Rabbi Yehoshua will hold that you can wear tefillin on the 2nd day when visitors arrive. Well, we made our own shita. We concocted our own recipe. And we can be matter, even in this case. Or, when you paskin like a shita, you are following that person's shita. You're adopting the gaver, so to speak, the person. I'm following that track, the track of that Tana, the track of that Amir. So in this case, you're running into trouble because on day 2, sure, you wear tefillin like Rabbi Yehoshua. But if somebody comes in, Rabbi Yehoshua himself requires removal. So I can't say, well, no, I won't remove because I'm following Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer himself wasn't matzah tefillin on day 2. So it's a self-contradiction. So what happens? Interesting shaila. Is it the opinion or is it the person that you're adopting? You have to follow the person. You have to follow Rabbi Yeshua's track. You want to be matter on day 2, fine. A newcomer shows up, chilitz, you have to remove the tefillin. And put it back on. Even 100 times, back and forth, to accommodate the visitors. We have a proof in a brisa as well. Well, we have Yehuda ben Tema Aimer, chilitz u'maniach afilu me'pa'amim, to accommodate the visitors. Rava disagrees. He says, you can mix and match. You can take his kula and put it together and create a new kula. Rava Amar Kiva Sheiniach, on day 2, once he dons his tefillin, Shivene Chayletz, no need to remove. We took all the kulas. We allowed tefillin on day 2. We allowed tefillin even when a visitor comes in. Says the Gemara, Rava? We have a problem because Rava himself told us otherwise. Amar halacha kedan dedan amar shloisha. Way back on that. Actually, yesterday we discussed the concept that the regel cuts short the shiva period. Once he's already into the shiva period, he's advanced far enough. Now the regel can come and cut it short. What is considered having experienced shiva properly? We have a Mishnah that you tell us 3 days. Rashi and Taisus explain 3 days is the ikar bechi, ikar merirus. And Rabbi says halacha ketan done amar shloisha. We follow our Tana. You need to pass through that 3-day period, which is the critical phase of the shiva. Not 2 days, like he says over here when it comes to tefillin. So how could Rabbi allow tefillin on the 2nd day if it's still within that first critical stage of merirus, mitzvah shani? Typically, 3 days is considered minimum, but when it comes to mitzvah tefillin, such an important mitzvah, we allow some leeway. You can put it on day 2. Tanan Rabbanan. Let's proceed to Isser Malach. We learned this the other day, based on the pasuk, V'afachti chagechem le'evel. We equate Avelis to a chag. We don't do Malach. Tanan Rabbanan, Avel Gimel Yamim Rishon, first 3 days, which are the most critical days of Avelis, also by Malacha. Malacha is totally off. Afilu onem nesparnis not stuck, even if he's destitute. An ani being supported from tzedakah, no Malach. Mekan velach. But once he's past that 3-day phase, we allow some leniency. So Taisus explains, we're speaking again about this on he was destitute. You can do some malach in his house discreetly. An isha can weave with her utensil in her house, again discreetly and quietly, for basic sustenance. Tanarabban. Avel gimel yamim rishonim. Avel is meant to stay home. Contemplate the event. It's meant to focus on the mace and not divert his mind, and it's not meant to travel. Avel gimel yamim rishonim. Not only should he not travel for other reasons, but he shouldn't even go over to another mourner's home. You would think perhaps it doesn't really create a diversion if he's entering another Beis Avel. No, he shouldn't do that. Focus on his personal event. Gimel Yom Rishon, the first 3 days of his Avelus, he shouldn't go to another Beis Avel. But after 3, we allow that. He can go visit another Avel. However, he shouldn't sit with the comforters, with the crowd. Ella rather b'mokim hamis nachamen, together with the Avelim who are being comforted. Because after all, he's also in the midst of Avelus. Now what about greeting people? Tanarabban. Avel, Gimel Yomim Rishon, the first 3 days of his Avelus. Totally mum. Also b'sheila sholem, he shouldn't be greeting people, others should not be greeting him. And some Mepharshim say, it's not just referring to Shalom Aleichem, which he shouldn't do because he's not in peace, and it's not something which is appropriate for an Avel, but not only that, even good morning, any type of pleasantry or greeting. So first 3 days, he doesn't greet, he doesn't respond. Mishloishav at Shiva from 3 to 7, we downgrade a bit. Meishiv, he may respond. The Gemara soon will tell us it means if somebody's not aware of a situation, he's going to respond, but he should initiate. He should not greet others. From 7 to 30, now we're more mekel. He can actually greet others, and he can respond as well. Again, we're speaking, the Gemara will explain, where others are not aware of his situation, and greet him so he can respond in honor of the other fellow greeting him. Asks the Gemara, is that so? His first 3 days, he's not meant to greet at all. Vatanya, listen to this price. Rekiva's sons passed away. All entered and were involved in this great eulogy on account of this event. When they were about to leave, he wanted to express gratitude and appreciation. Rekiva got up on this big bench, and he announced as follows: Shimul, listen to me, my brothers. Even if my sons would have been already married heads of families, in which case it would have been a tremendous tragedy for me. I am right now have been comforted. Bishvil kavod shasisem, because of this great honor that you've honored me, that you've recorded to me. You've all come and you've participated in my Avelus. I appreciate it. And certainly in a case where they're not so, there actually weren't. They weren't heads of families. In fact, some Farshim say only one was married. In any case, this was a great Nichem Avel. I appreciate it. Furthermore, I want to give you a brach. V'im b'shvil Akiva basim. Had you only come to visit Akiva, some say Akiva was wealthy. Is that why you came to visit the wealthy man? Well, Harikama Akiva b'shukla. There's so many wealthy Akivas in the street, and nobody gets this type of treatment. So why then? Elakach amartem. I figure this is what you're thinking. Torah Akiva is saturated with Torah, and you came to provide kavod for Torah. And therefore, of course, you get double pay, double schar from Hashem. You comforted an individual, a yid, and certainly you came also to cover that Torah, you get double pay. And it concludes, L'chu l'batechem l'shalom. Go home in peace. So he gave them a bracha. He greeted them. He sent them off with shalom, which is something we thought an Avel is not meant to do. Kavod Rabbim Shani. Here was a question of the Rabbim. Kavod the Rabbim is totally different. And that allows for some exception. Similar to what we learned earlier regarding tefillah, mitzvah is different. So this has a different halach. Okay, let's go back and analyze the price. Typically, first 3 days, no greeting, no responding. Migim Movad Zayin, from 3 to 7. We allow somewhat. Meishiv. If he's greeted, he can respond. Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Shalom. If any shel, but he shouldn't initiate a greeting. Mekan Ve'elach, from 7 to 30. You can initiate, you can greet others, and others can greet him as well. Is that so? V'raminu. We have a brayso which indicates otherwise, that he's not meant to be greeted. Nobody's meant to greet him until shloshim. He's not meant to respond. So how could this brayso allow responding from 3 till 30? HaMoed says chaveru ovel. So he meets his friend. He discovers that he's an ovel. So it depends where he's holding. If he's still within shloshim, should speak with him words of comfort. He's still in the midst of his avelis. He may not greet him. He's still in avelis. It's right off the bat. We have a kasha. We see clearly. One who is within the 30 days of avelis is not meant to accept greetings. He's not meant to respond to greetings. That's already a kasha on the previous price. Okay, let's just finish this price. Past 30, he's beyond avelis. One may greet this avel. And likewise, you should not discuss the tragedy with him. Don't refresh the tragedy that he's getting over. Another halacha. Let's say his wife passes away, and he had young children, or a case where he never married, and we allow him to remarry immediately. He remarried immediately. You have to be very careful and very sensitive. His friend should not enter his home to discuss the tragedy with him. You have to be sensitive to the new wife. Don't bring up the story. However, if he meets him outside, he can make slight reference to the story. By the way, in a hint fashion, not in an outright way. Don't elaborate. Just get through it, mumbling. And first, say, look, you want to show that you're his friend. You're empathizing with him, but don't make a scene about it. Okay. In any case, let's go back to the kash. In Brisa number 1, we learned, true, first 3 days, quiet, no greeting, no being greeted. But from day number 3 until day 30, Meshiv, he can respond to a greeting. He's meant to be greeted by others. And here we learn, within 30, you're not meant to greet a novel. Continues the Gemara. Amar Rav Yehuda bar Avin, Hu shoyel b'shlem acher. This is the answer. He's meant to greet others. So even though he's still within the shloshim, he should greet others. Shacherim shruyim b'shalom. Others are dwelling in peace, so to speak. They're happy. They're fine. So you can greet others. First 3 days, nothing going on. He's totally totally quiet, totally silent, contemplating his tragedy. But once he gets past that critical phase of avelis, once he's past 3, he can greet others. But achirim ein shalom b'shleim. But others cannot greet him. Shu ein shara b'shalom. He's not at peace. He's still experiencing avelis. And that's what the Brisa meant. And the Brisa says that within 30, he's einay shoyel b'shleimai. Right? This Brisa that we just learned. Within 30, einay shoyel b'shleimai means that others should not be greeting him. He's not shara b'shalom, but he can greet others. And that's what the first Brisa is speaking about. He's greeting others. That's okay. What do you mean? Take a look at that first Brisa. Take a look closely. What does it say there? The Brisa says Meishiv. Between day 3 and day 30, he can be shoyel. Okay, that's good. But Meishiv, what does Meishiv mean? Apparently others are greeting him. Now you're in trouble. You're telling me that he can be greeted. Not only can he initiate, that I understand. Others are b'shalom. Why shouldn't he give them a shalom aleichem? But how could he respond to a greeting? The lo yadi was speaking that the greeter wasn't aware of his situation. So typically, one is not meant to greet him until 30. But suppose somebody greets him, not knowing that he's an Avelis. So he can respond out of deference, out of kaveh to the greeter. And that's what the Bryce is speaking about. If that's the case, you're allowing for kavod, for pnei hashalom, hasamnami. So what about until day 3? Bryce seems to say that until day 3 you can't even do that. Why not? If somebody greets him, he should respond. Pnei hashalom. So why does the Bryce say until 3 days there's no responding? There is. Hasam moedalu, v'lei mahadalu. There's a big difference. First 3 days of the Avelis, even if somebody inadvertently greets him, he tells him, he informs him, and he doesn't respond to the greeting. But once he's passed 3 days, the severity of the Avelis got lessened. We allow for some leeway, although typically, ideally, one should not greet him, but if he was greeted inadvertently, he can respond. So bottom line is like this. First 3 days of Avelis, the most critical, the most severe, the most intense. He made merira, he made bechi. Silence. No greeting, no being greeted. Meaning no response if he's greeted. From 3 to 7, he's not meant to greet others. He's an Avelis. He's not meant to be involved in telling people Shalom Aleichem. He's not meant to divert his attention from the Avelis. From 7 to 30, he can greet. Greet freely. What about responding? Typically, you're not meant to respond, not meant to be greeted until 30. But if somebody approaches him and unbeknownst to him he's an Avelis and he greets him, so if it's past day 3, from 3 all the way to 30, he can respond. V'raminu. Now we're going to have a kash. We seem to say that after 30, it's over. The Brisa here tells us until 12 months he's still considered an Avel. He meets his friend and he discovers he's an Avel. If it's within 12 months of the tragedy, he comforts him, he consoles him. Tragedy is still fresh. He may not greet him. After 12 months, it's over. Greet him. He should not discuss the event with him. It's already 12 months. The Gemara says that Hashem makes a chesed, that the mace is mishtakech min alev. He's trying to get over it. Don't re-invoke, don't refresh, don't relive the experience with him. But he can sort of hint him, oh yeah, in a hinting fashion. Don't bring it up, don't make a scene, but he can hint to him to show that he cares for him. He's with him on it. If it's already after 12 months, and he chooses to discuss the tragedy with him, you know what it's compared to? A person's experience a broken foot. Baruch Hashem, it healed. He meets a doctor. And the doctor tells him, come to my office. I'll take care of you. Shani shaver, I'll re-break it, and refix it. This way you'll know. And I have good medicines. I want to improve my expertise on your foot. Let me re-break it and refix it. This fellow's he's already overcoming his tragedy. He's already past 12 months. You're going and you're discussing Tanchumen. Tragic event. Leave it alone. He doesn't need your help. In any case, what do we see in this Brisa? Avelis extends until 12 months, not just 30 days. Like Kasha, the answer is, depends who. Parents, that extends for 12 months. But other relatives, only 30 days. Asks the Gemara. So in this Brisa we learn that when it comes to parents, the Avelis extends for 12 months. So if he meets him within 12 months, discuss Tanchum, comfort him, console him, give him Tanchum. But after 12 months, don't get into it. But you can hint. Minatzad, a slight hint is okay. If so, Hasam Nami. What about in the previous price? We discussed ordinary relatives. So Tanchumen lasts until 30 days, but afterwards don't discuss the tragedy. Hasam Nami there as well. Yidabri, my Tanchumen not sad. Let him discuss it by the way. What's wrong with that? Just as over here, after 12 months, he's allowed to do that. In Echanami, you're right. That's what he's meant to do. Show that you care. Just make a slight reference to the story and that's it. What then does Brisa mean when it says there's no Tanchumen discussed after 30 days by a relative? Kedarkai, in an ordinary manner. You don't elaborate on the event. Aval, of course, medabi minatzad. In a slight hinting manner, certainly it's mutter. Okay, so what did we learn regarding the halacha of Sheila Sholem, regarding the halacha of Tanchumen? So it all depends where we're holding and who passes away. Okay, so regarding Sheila Sholem, the two parts to it. There's Shoel, regarding him greeting others, and then there's Meshiv, regarding him responding to others who greet him. So it depends where he's holding. First 3 days, everything is X. No greeting, no responding. He oneg doim. From 3 to 7, he's not meant to greet others, still in the Shiva period, but he can respond to somebody who's not aware of his situation. Same thing regarding from 7 to 30, he can respond in this manner, and in that case, he can actually greet others as well. From 30 to Yud Beis Chodesh by a father and mother, the same halacha applies. Greeting is okay, and responding to a greeting is permitted if he was greeted by somebody who's not aware of his situation. Now regarding discussing Tanchumen, verse 3, verse 7, verse 30, proper Tanchumen. After 30, Minat Tzad, in a hinting manner. Regarding Aveim, so until Yud Beis Chodesh, proper Tanchumen. Afterwards, only Minat Tzad. Okay, let's do a quick chazar of today's daf. We started with the halacha of kriya, which must take place mu'umad in a formal manner. What are the things that an aval must not do? Malacha, rechitza, sicha, tashim shamita, nilas asandal, and talmud Torah. We learned that if the rabbim need the rav's drasha, he's allowed to proceed, as long as he does it with a slight shinoi. The aval may not wear tefillin either first 2 or 3 days of his avelus, depending on the shitais. Regarding newcomers who arrive on that day, does he have to be concerned? Choylitz or choylitz or machlekes, the more paschas lekula on both accounts. We have a heter regarding malacha as well. If he's an ani who's destitute, so after 3 days he can proceed with malacha bitzina. We have the halachas of Sheila Sholem and Tanchumen. We have an exception regarding Sheila Sholem, the kavod rabbim is mutter. And we had one more thing regarding displaying extra sensitivity. In a case where a person remarries, he should not discuss Tanchumen in his home within the first Lamed Yom of the Avelus. However, if he meets him outside, play that delicate balance. Do show that you care, do mention it somewhat, but again, in a toned down manner, in keeping with the spirit of where he's holding. You don't want to create hard feelings and regrets as to what he did, and therefore be sensitive to the other's feelings. Surah's Toivus and all the best. Hatzlacha Rabbah.